We're Corey and Maryos from Buttery Sessions and Sleep D.
And we're about to show you our remix for Gordon Koang's track, Y Dah.
Buttery Sessions is our record label that we've been running for the last 10 years here in Melbourne, releasing electronic music from Australian artists and artists abroad. We're now in our music studio and also our office where we run the label from, which is also just behind you.
Yeah, from here, if you're like saying like, well, what instrument did you start with and why?
Yeah, I think something.
We started with replicating his melodies with this and trying to get a sound similar to his, but probably more leaning towards an electronic kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think like a tool we used was like the Ableton's, converting audio to MIDI, which got the bass line out of his track, and then I think we tweaked that a bit and ended up using this DX100 sound, classic solid bass sound, just kind of straight up, and that worked quite well. It kind of sits somewhere in between electronic and
so this is actually Gordon's bass groove with our sounds, and then
I think that was like one of the first pieces.
Added drums.
I think this bit here,
solid.
This is like, it might not even sound like his vocal. That's just like a little phrase with his funky delay and this thing. Yeah, that little bit of his vocal in this section kind of we're trying to get the feeling of like a group of people kind of singing and dancing, and there's like this kind of
claps as well.
Yeah, this like clap recordings that we did.
Try the channel above it.
Above.
Channel 15.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, so that's just a bunch of claps in here just to kind of get that, the feeling of like a large group of people singing and dancing together. Sounds kind of shit on the time, but
It sounds great.
Yeah, once we laid down all the groove and stuff, we laid it with more of the mode, just doing like these kind of synth swells and very
few beeps and stuff.
Nice kind of synthwave stuff. Once we lay down the basic arrangement, we go in and tweak like crossover sections and try and create interesting like transitions, kind of like this one.
Also, like we usually kind of lay something out, maybe go for a walk or play a game of FIFA, and then come back and see if it's still good. And we usually like record just heaps of stuff and like do a lot of audio editing after and stuff.
Yeah, we take the approach of almost overdoing it and then carving out what makes sense or what sounds best. Yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge at I think it was at the start of the lockdown, wasn't it? So parts of it had to be arranged and made like at my house, just like in the kitchen in an apartment, which ended up using this for the drums, so something different, like pretty new for me. And then brought it back here, and then we finished it. Yeah,
Gordon and Paul heard the track and they were into it, so I think they were the only people we really needed to please.
Yeah.
So if they're into it, then we're happy. Like overall, the idea was to keep the essence of the original track, but just kind of recreate it in our world, and this is what we came up with.
Yeah. Sounds great. Yeah, it all makes sense.
I think we went like back and forth.
Yeah, that's okay.
Never had to.
Do you want to talk?
Never had to talk about our music before.
Yes, this is our office and storeroom where we get some shit done. There's records and t-shirts and stuff everywhere. This is one of our prized possessions here. It's quite nice.
Tell us about this section.
Basement. That's
So this is where we lock Maryos in to produce the designs.
Yeah.
He's not allowed out unless he gets something good.